And welcome back to another edition of Everyday Football 62. I'm your Jonathan, Big Tex Johnson, aka Uncle Tex, aka Professor Tex. Before we get started, smash that like button, subscribe to the page. You got any questions, comments, concerns, leave it down there at the bottom. We'll get to it. Let's go and jump on this right now. You see the title. The Hall of Fame is lazy. I've come to that conclusion that these guys, some of these old ass guys in this old ass guys in the media are extremely lazy when it comes to this. And I'll tell you what, I've already told you guys, I'll give you the points of Hall of Fame. Gotta play 9 to 10 years, right? You need to have dominated in that time frame. All pro 4 or 5 times, Pro Bowls, whatever, 5, 6, 7 times. You need that. But it's all about, are you the best at your position for a considerable amount of time that you played in the league? Okay, that's what I look at. There's very few other things that I do look at, but that's what I look at. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, because it says it's gonna be 5 modern day players is gonna be inducted in the Hall of Fame. I'm gonna give you my 5 right now. I'm gonna start right with Patrick Willis. Patrick Willis easily would have been the first ballot Hall of Famer had Patrick Willis played at least 9, 10 years. Finished up that 7th or 8th year that he played. Patrick Willis was that dude. Went to a Super Bowl, played some big games. All Pro 5 times in his 8 NFL seasons, 2007, 9, 10 through 12, to the Pro Bowl 7 consecutive years. Patrick Willis, if it wasn't for that injury and whatnot and stuff like that, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. DeMarcus Ware. There's going to be a lot of defense. I don't think there's going to be a lot of offense going on right now. We already know what he did. You talking about somebody got him a ring, was Dallas' best pass rusher, got a lot of sacks, all pro 4 times, second team 3 times, that's 7 times all pro, 9-time Pro Bowl. I don't really need to say no more. Joe Thomas. So that's 2, 3, Joe Thomas. Probably one of the best tackles to play on a sorry team. We're talking about somebody who was that of All-Pro 6 times, 6 seasons. 2009, 11, and 13, 15. All-Pro twice, 7 times. You talking about somebody who played, 11 seasons? He made All-Pro every year, just about. Unfortunately, he played on a garbage-ass team. Darrelle Revis Island, it is what it is. 11 seasons, him, 4 times first team All-Pro. I think his name might have been Defensive Player of the Year one year. We was second in Defensive Player of the Year in 2009. Let me see what we got here. You got Dwight Freeney. With him. Really, in the end, the way I look at it is like this. I told you guys what I look at, how I look at it, right? So I'm going to go through Zach Thomas, DeMarcus Wade, Patrick Willis. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody else is going to have to wait, even down to that of Dwight Freeney and even that of Jared Allen. Simply because I'm using that because these guys, what you got to understand and realize is this here. And this is why I say they're lazy for. They're lazy for the simple fact that when I say they're lazy, meaning that you have to put the players in the time that they played. Meaning that you can't put Jared Allen or somebody like Patrick Willis or Darrelle Revis and all that, and with other players and whatnot from other eras. from the old time. It shouldn't even be an old times committee. What needs to happen, you can't put these guys all up in one thing, all up on just one time of having it. So you got Ken Riley, Chuck Howley, Joe Klecko, and whatnot, and old time, and then with Don Coryell. Either you was a shit by the time that you played, or you wasn't, right? And so that's what I look at. So when we start talking about these players and whatnot, and some of the other guys that got up here, they got Ken Riley, who made All-Pro one time his last year in the league. Right? Let's go down to talk about Ken Riley. Let me see. Because what happens, Ken Riley, it's like, was he one of the better was he one of the better defensive backs in the league? He's a cornerback. One time All-Pro his last year. No. Albert Lewis. No. Those guys are very good players. But those guys do not at this particular. Come on, man. Stop it. If you didn't really make all-decade team, what are we talking about? What are we really talking about? You know what I'm saying? I've shown you the things with Patrick Willis. You can look it up yourself with Patrick Willis and whatnot. And like I said, this guy was a monster. And if it wasn't for that injury, we're not even having this conversation. And like I said, and you were talking about Don Coryell changed the game and everything like that. But like I said, we get down to cats like Don Coryell. And see, this is, and even with someone like, let's say like a Ken Riley. Ken Riley played, this is how long he played. Ken Riley played 6'9", 14, 15 years. Right? And that's the only time you got, much like I don't think people, a lot of the Minnesota Vikings talk about, they'll talk about he was the Iron Man and stuff like that. You play 20 years and all you get is what? 3-time second team All-Pro, 2-time Pro Bowler? That's it? In 20 years? Good player, but not the dominant player, not the Hall of Fame player. And I tell you guys all the time, if you ain't made from the first ballot, second ballot, third ballot, it doesn't need to even happen no more. But, with the way how they're doing Hall of Fame, shit gonna put them all in there, if that's the case. Those other guys, those are the 5 that I'm picking to go in the modern day. I'm picking and whatnot. As far as I've already put my bid in for that of Chuck Howley. That of Chuck Howley, who had a way better career than most outside linebackers playing that same linebacker or Sally or whatever you want to call it. I was coming up or whatever. I played that same particular position in high school, and now stacked, of course, and but it's still a strong side linebacker, strong outside linebacker, right? So Chuck Howley, who, like I said, was Jack Ham before Jack Ham. Okay, so him and Bobby Bell are the best outside linebackers. You want to throw Dave Robinson in there. They talk about Dave Wilcox. They talk about Chris Hamburger, who are in there before him. I'm like, how them guys getting there before him and they don't have the hardware that he has? All right? All-Pro. I mean, I've already talked about this. Go back and check it out. Okay? Dwight Freeney was like that. He gets props. But at the same time, I don't think it's time for him to go in maybe next year. Okay? But, look, like I say, man, these guys are really, when you get down to it, are the meat and potatoes, I should say, for this Hall of Fame class. And which is the 5 guys that I named. And I'll name them one more time again. And that's going to go down to that of Revis, Thomas, DeMarcus Wade, Patrick Willis, or I might have one more, Zach Thomas. So 1 with Zach Thomas, 2 with DeMarcus Ware, 3 with Patrick Willis, Let me see here. Let me see. Hold on. Let's go back this one more time. Darrelle Revis, Joe Thomas, Zach Thomas, 3, 4, 5. Willis, DeMarcus Ware, Zach Thomas, Joe Thomas, Darrelle Revis. Stop it there. Albert Lewis was nice and whatnot, but like I said, not that. Catch him in the next round. Okay? Dealing with Albert Lewis and whatnot. Him and guys like Freeney, Barber, Allen, maybe next year and whatnot. But like I say though, they don't understand that. Like I said, when you play that particular, when you're playing those positions, and everything, right? You have to dominate for a certain amount of time, and you have to be the best in the business. And what sets you apart, when you talk about defensive ends, I put that when I go defensive ends, it is all about, and I did this last week. When you talk about Gino Marchetti, when you talk about J.J. Watt, when you talk about Bruce Smith, when you talk about Reggie White, them guys really don't have anything to do with them guys, and those guys are first ballot Hall of Famers all the way. You have to put up stuff like that. Joe Thomas, one of the top tackles who ever played. Unfortunately for Joe Thomas played in a bunch of sorry-ass Cleveland Brown teams. And it's sad, but he should be. But the wealth of that is the fact that he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer all the way and whatnot. And those are my picks for the 5. And Chuck Howard for the old timers and whatnot should have been in there at the time that he played because he's one of the best linebackers in the 60s and early 70s, mid 60s, early 70s. He should be up there and whatnot and everything. And Coryell for what he did. Go ahead and put him in there. Probably should have been in there a while back and whatnot. And that's the way I look at that. Talking about games from yesterday, Philly and New York. I'm going to start with that of Kansas City and Jacksonville. Had Mahomes not got hurt, that game could have completely out of hand. 40 to 14. Easily 40 to 14. Until Mahomes got hurt. He don't get hurt, that game's a blowout. So that's how it is and whatnot. You go down to that of Philly and New York, that should be no surprise to anybody based upon the fact that Philly is just like that, a better running team. Jacksonville couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop the run. Any of that stuff. Let me see. Kenneth Gainwell, 12 rushes for 112 yards. Miles Sanders, 17 carries for 90 yards. I'm like, they went from 2 plus rushing. So, you know what I'm saying? Saquon Barkley, he had that long, you take that 39-yard one from here, he would have 8 carries for 30-something odd yards. Daniel Jones Daniel Jones is not where everybody tried. They want him to be certain things, but he's not going to be certain things. Right? He's not that guy. So we'll see what happens with him playing off that rookie contract and whatnot. So that's how I'm looking at a lot of that situation right now. And like I said, and it's great for Jalen Hurts. Texas kid, I'm always rooting for Texas kid here, Mahomes. Texas kid got Dallas, that's my team. Everybody already knows that. But Jalen Hurts, because they were saying that when he has to do X, Y, and Z by his second year, which was technically his first year, and then went to the playoffs last year, got stopped in the first round of the wild card and whatnot. Now he's going to play for NFC Championship for a right to go to the Super Bowl against possibly either San Francisco or Dallas and whatnot. Smooth as a baby's bottom and whatnot. You had, like I said, did his thing. 16 for 24, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns. He rushed for that 9 carries for 34 yards, and he had a touchdown. Okay, they could have blown their asses out 50-something. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. And like I tell you guys all the time, man, those numbers don't be lying and whatnot. So like I said, that's how it is. The key to Dallas, the key to Buffalo I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Buffalo and Cincinnati, high-scoring game. I want to see Buffalo getting there so that, I mean, just because I like Allen a little bit more than that, Burrows and whatnot. I like what Buffalo has going on, but Buffalo still has that whole stigma with them for losing 4 Super Bowls, and we'll see what happens with this whole thing. Not getting out of the AFC to getting out of the AFC in order to win the Super Bowl to play, because they'll lose and whatnot. Even though I see them winning today and losing against Kansas City in Arrowhead Stadium and whatnot. So that's my take on a lot of that. Dallas, put pressure on Purdy, put some pressure on him and whatnot. If you put some pressure on him, because he's driving the Ferrari and he hasn't wrecked. It hasn't been anything. He's hit a couple of potholes, but hitting a pothole ain't nothing, right? So if they do that, tackle, and put pressure on Purdy, they will be able to do that, because, like I said, Seattle actually had a chance, but once Odell fumbled the ball, well, that was pretty much the end of that chapter there and whatnot, as far as that goes there and stuff. So, like I tell you, those are my picks and whatnot and what's going on. And like I tell you guys all the time, there's no greatest of all time as long as time is still going on. And also, numbers don't lie, get emotional, people do. And one last thing, we're going to see what Baltimore is going to do with Lamar Jackson. I've kind of somewhat talked about this a little bit last week and whatnot, and it's really all about how they're going to how they're going to deal with that situation with him and whatnot. He plays, they win. They beat Cincinnati. They could have got all the shit done during the summertime, but no, they didn't, because they don't trust him. He's outperformed. He's done everything you asked him to do, and then some. And you still playing games with him. You know, sad day. But like I said, man, it is what it is. You guys have a good one. We'll talk with you later.